I really want to talk about this. Mr. Birchum, a painfully unfunny conservative cartoon.
Mr. Birchum, one of the newest adult animated family sitcoms on the market, because we don't have enough of those already. But hold up, this one might be different. It might have some bite to it. That, according to sources, quote, no network would touch the show for fear of offending the wrong people. Dang, that sounds interesting. I wonder who said that. Oh, it's anti-woke? This is going to suck, isn't it?
My name is Mr. Carponzi. My pronouns are he, him, and Z. I'm a heteronormative, cisgendered white male, for which I apologize.
So for those who don't know, Mr. Birchum is a series on Daily Wire Plus, a news, media, and entertainment website that caters to a conservative demographic. The very same website that hosts Chip Chilla, which I spoke about in a video last year. You know, the conservative Bluey ripoff that features Rob Schneider. How is that a sentence?
Thank you so much, Madam President. I regret voting for the other guy.
What was that?
Well, this time around, Daily Wire wants a piece of the action when it comes to adult animation and has joined forces with Adam Corolla, the creator of Mr. Birchum. Apparently, he has had this idea of a character for decades now, but networks weren't interested in giving the concept a shot. Until now. A concept that is basically, what if we combined Hank Hill with Ron Swanson, but remove all of their charm, empathy, and personality, and
Okay, but literally.
replace it with a condescending superiority complex that is riddled with conservative buzzwords? Yeah, that's Mr. Birchum more or less. I literally made a list of buzzwords that I expected to see in the show. And within the first two...
Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you imagine, guys? We should do like a bingo board as like a treat in like a subathon stream one day. We should do a bingo board and like watch an episode together. And see how many of us can get bingo. That's what you say, right? You get bingo? Is that... That's right, right? That's the correct terminology. Okay, yeah. Okay.
episodes, I crossed off like 10 of them.
As a warrior for equality, I wear the robe of the order who fought for social justice in a galaxy far, far away.
Oh boy, a woke nerd.
For the record, I'm here as an advocate for good animated shows, regardless of political affiliation. In my opinion, the more polarized a show is when it comes to its political ideologies, the less clever it typically is.
That's pretty straightforward, to be honest, because
the case for Little Bush, our cartoon president, and you guessed it, Mr. Birchum.
Sorry, back on this topic. When it comes to cartoons or really any form of media, if you're more focused on pushing some political ideology, you're not focused on actually building a narrative and a story and a plot and interesting characters and interesting dialogue. You're just concerned with pushing this dumb narrative. And the farther you get away from a good story, the more dog shit your story will become. Good stories or good TV shows and cartoons and movies can tell a story that has moral values at the end of it that don't need to push any ideology to convince you of it. Think about like Avatar Last Airbender. That is a very political show. If you think that show isn't political, I really do pray for you and your brain cells, because like it's so over for you. Like, huge anti-imperialist narrative. Huge equality narrative. Huge like peacefulness narrative and like monk-like behavior narrative, right? It covers so many different things and it tells you how to feel about all of these different political issues, but it's not concerned with that. what it tries to do its best at is making good, interesting characters and a good, interesting story. It's not preaching to you that sexism is bad. It's showing you, hey, look at this sexist character and look at how he learns and grows as a person. What do you mean the show is about colonialism and a genocide is political? X-Men is political. X-Men is a great example. People who think X-Men isn't political, it's like you are embarrassing, actually. Your existence embarrasses the rest of us. X-Men is literally about the oppression of a people who did not choose to be born a certain way. X-Men has always been political. It's just that X-Men builds a political world and it cares about the characters in it. Mr. Birchum builds a political world and just does its best to make fun of people who don't have the politics that Mr. Birchum has.
Mr. Birchum is charged with using systemic student oppression, publicly shaming them, and then forcing them to work on his personal property during non-school hours. He literally made them slaves. Literally.
People who think Rage Against the Machine haven't always been political. You know, I really used to like Rage Against the Machine, and then they became so political.
You know, my timing is actually pretty good with the release of Birchum, as I've been rewatching King of the Hill again for like the 10th time. I'm not joking. I watch this series at least once a year, and it is the perfect example of how to properly convey political ideas and themes without sacrificing your characters in the pursuit.
Here's a good example. I love this scene. I will never stop loving this scene. I will always show this scene because this is the perfect example of like why people like King of the Hill.
So are you Chinese or Japanese?
I live in California last 20 years, but first come from Laos.
Huh?
Laos. We lay ocean.
The ocean? What ocean?
We are lay ocean. From Laos, stupid. It's a landlocked country in Southeast Asia. It's between Vietnam and Thailand, okay? Population 4.7 million.
So are you Chinese or Japanese?
Oh.
You come,
The ocean?
you come from the ocean? So what are you, Japanese or Chinese? It's like this is it. This is it. This is what makes the show good, right? This is why people like King of the Hill. It's like none of the characters here are malicious. None of the characters here are like, we need to get your people out of here. We need to get your people out of this country. You're ruining our job market or some shit. It's just, I don't know shit about Asia other than Japan and China. So what are you? I don't know. The ocean? I don't know about no ocean. How you from the ocean? And it's not that Hank is a bad person. It's not that Hank is a piece of shit. It's that Hank doesn't know. And the joke is about them, that they don't know and that they sound fucking stupid. But they're also not against learning inherently. They are conservative, like bumpkin rednecks or whatever. But they just don't know anything. That's it. It's self-aware. It's not making fun of the conservatives exactly. Yeah. Whereas something like Mr. Birchum, you can't just write a character like Mr. Birchum and just make them right in every situation all the time and think people are going to like that type of character. The main character has to be wrong sometimes. They have to have flaws. Otherwise, you just have a fucking Mary Sue. And that's boring to watch. Nobody wants to watch a main character that never makes any mistakes ever. Are you kidding me? Even like, look at something like SpongeBob, right? How many times in SpongeBob is it that like they'll have SpongeBob be the asshole? It's like, am I the asshole? I made an entire comedy sketch about how ugly my friend's race is, squirrels. Am I the asshole? Is it me? Is it? And that's okay. Like, you want those characters to have flaws because it humanizes them, and then it gives them a way to redeem themselves. And when you redeem them, you appreciate their growth. It's like, oh, cool. He was like this, and then he learned, and now he's, oh, it's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. Making a self-insert show where, like, you're always right and you're always epically owning your political opponents is boring. It's fucking boring.
Dudes, Hank Hill is a conservative, but he is not just a vessel for conservative rhetoric. Mr. Birchum is. We'll talk more about that here in a bit. Take a tank of propane and smack it upside Birchum's head.
You left yourself open, Dad.
Would you like to resume your search for Nancy Pelosi bikini pics?
Heck yeah!
So, to recap, Mr. Birchum was created by Adam Corolla. You might know him as that one guy from The Man Show. That one.
See, you know that what he just said? He's like going on his motor scooter. The like liberal is going on the little motor scooter. Hi, chat. What's up with Steven Crowder? R.I.P. Steven Crowder. He didn't die. He just fell off. That would have been funny if it was the main character. If Mr. Birchum got in his car and his smartphone said, would you like to continue your search for Nancy Pelosi bikini photos? And he's like, no, stop, shut the fuck up. Then it's funny again because it's like, oh, the conservative that secretly jacks off to liberals. Very funny. Then it's funny again. It's like you can't just make your main character insufferable and annoying and self-centered and obnoxious and also be right in every situation ever.
Voice from Crank Anchors or the voice of Spanky Ham from Drawn Together. You see, when I hear the phrase too offensive for TV, I don't think of Mr. Birchum. I think of Drawn Together, and for good reason.
I just know Xander and Tim are up to something. I can feel it in my gut.
Well, Adam here skews more towards the right when it comes to political values, though I would call him more libertarian than anything else. Regardless, that has not stopped him from teaming up with the Daily Wire and other conservative folks who appear in the show too. Roseanne Barr, Megyn Kelly, and Brett.
Also, yes, it's why Always Sunny is so funny. Everyone in that show is a giant piece of shit. Exactly.
Cooper, to name a few. Yeah. As a matter of fact, this show seems more excited about who is on the show rather than the show itself.
I find it really funny that the two dudes who hosted The Man Show are now some of the most insufferable people on television for opposite reasons.
Oh my God, yes. It's like, dude, Brett Cooper feels like an industry plant. Can I show you the cringiest thing that was recommended to me? So this is a show created by Adam Corolla. And obviously it has a bunch of Daily Wire people in it, voice acting lots of the characters like Brett Cooper. And I got recommended this, like the worst video imaginable on Brett Cooper's channel that says, I raced Adam Corolla in an F1 simulator. Stop trying to make us like these people. It's cringe.
What's up, guys? I am here in Los Angeles for the premiere of Mr. Birchum, starring Adam Corolla, who plays my father in the show.
That hack doesn't know the difference between a coping saw and a banjo saw.
I stole him away from all the festivities to do a little video with me. We're at World of Racing here. So Donovan, tell us all about World of Racing. What are we doing today?
So World of Racing is a state-of-the-art simulation center. So we have every track, every type of car in the world. So today we're gonna put you guys in a couple of different cars. I know, Adam, you've been on track before. You have not.
No.
You'll be at an advantage because when you come from real world into a sim, you're expecting the G-forces and stuff like that. We don't have that in the simulator. Everything kind of comes through the wheels, which are force feedback. So the more grip you have, the more tighter the wheel will be to turn. If the wheel suddenly gets light, it means you have no more grip. Mm-hmm. Most people get into a sim, they start turning the wheel, and just go straight into the wall. Oh, brake.
I am! Never mind, I wasn't. I'm gonna be terrible.
Look at how much personality he showed off.
No, buddy. Oh.
What is the third pedal, Adam?
The clutch. Nobody over 30 probably knows what that pedal is. You know, there's two main components of a clutch.
Really?
The master cylinder and the slave cylinder. Isn't that sad?
What does that mean?
Well, the master cylinder tells the slave cylinder what to do, essentially.
All right, quick little safety briefing before we get started. When you crash, or in Adam's case, if you crash, if you feel the wheel...
He's so boomer. Why is she giggling like that? Because that's her job. That's her job. Her job is to try and pretend like Adam Corolla is funny, because otherwise it would be cringe to record him trying to say something and then her being like, oh, okay. So she has to do that for the bag.
The wheel is fighting you, let go of the wheel. The wheel will win. Any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
When are you gonna drop the fake German accent? You're from New Jersey, dude. My sister went to high school with this guy. All right, I'm ready.
Ooh, this is in Monterey.
Yeah, this is one of the best tracks in the world. Just give it full throttle.
Right now?
You think that this guy, you really think that this guy can make a funny show? He talks like he's at 0.5x on a YouTube video. He sounds like he's constantly bored. He hasn't made a single fun joke.
Yeah.
We'll put it in first gear.
Oh.
It is easier to brake with your left foot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, left foot brake, right.
So weird feeling the car shift. I need a massage after this. I'm so tense.
Turn right, turn right, turn right. There you go. Oh.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, wow. All right. Oh, look. The cork.
I have to close this immediately. I think if I watch any more, my brain is going to, like, explode. That it's just there's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Work. Circling back to the
I can tell he's a comedian. And you know, the sad thing is, like, if anyone here has met any of like their favorite voice actors or has met any of their favorite authors or writers or TV show creators, they have a lot of personality and they have a lot to say about a lot of things because they feel so strongly and passionately about their projects. And they write these compelling characters, right? You have to be a compelling, fun person to be around just almost innately if you write such good, compelling characters. If you have the personality of a rock, how the fuck is your TV show supposed to be good? Please tell me, riddle me that. Riddle me.
Offensive comment? I found this comment from Corolla from a Newsweek article about how Birchum has a South Park vibe to it, but without the raunch. That this was, quote, purposeful, given his target audience is conservatives who frequent the Daily Wire, end quote. First off, I feel that this is disrespectful towards South Park and fails to see it in the proper light. Yes, South Park is not afraid to push the envelope when it comes to shock and awe, but it's anchored by funny characters, clever writing, compelling messages, and the ability to be introspective.
I will say one thing about South Park, which is it's actually a show that pushes the envelope. It's actually a show that people, I think, would consider almost like it goes a little too far for it to be on, like, TV. Like, it's like, whoa, I'm honestly kind of shocked that this is actually on TV. Versus Mr. Birchum, it's not going too far. It's just boring. It's just boring. The comedy he dabbled in was always misogynistic. Anyone expecting him to bring something funny into 2024 is jaded. Yeah.
There is nuance in South Park. There's even an episode about Obama winning the election in 2008. God, I'm old. And we see both sides of the political spectrum lose their mind. Wow, perspective about politics? You won't see that in Mr. Birchum. Also, a big thing here too, South Park is funny. It does not sacrifice itself for cheap laughs via low-hanging fruit to the degree of Mr. Birchum.
I will, to be fair, I trust Saberspark's opinions on animation, okay? And I've only watched like 3 episodes of South Park, okay? I will admit to this. I will admit to this. The problem for me is that the South Park episodes I watched were so bad. Maybe I haven't seen the good ones. Because I've heard from a lot of people who watch South Park, the episodes are so hit or miss. Some of them are like just the worst shit you've ever seen in your life, and some of them are actually good. And I've been recommended to honestly just go through the seasons and just like go to IMDb and just watch the 9 out of 10 videos or episodes, excuse me.
Again, if my buzzword list was a drinking game, I would be drunk by the end of episode 2.
I'm not gonna say, hell, I am gonna say what I have been wanting to say.
All right, I keep bringing up Mr. Birchum, but what's the show about exactly? What's the premise? I'm sure that many of you could guess since it follows a typical adult animated sitcom formula. Mr. Birchum, voiced by Adam Corolla, is the cantankerous short-fused dad. He works as a wood carving teacher at a public school he despises because of its new wave of students, regulations, and ideologies.
He grade shamed me, name shamed me, fat shamed me, screen shamed me, fashion shamed me, shame me. Huh.
You see what I'm talking about? How Birchum is like an unpleasant version of Ron Swanson fused with Hank Hill? He has a disdain for government bureaucracy. So does Ron Swanson. But Ron hates the government because it's wholly incompetent in his eyes. Well, Mr. Birchum here is just an angry boomer. We are not the same. Birchum hates the modern school because the wokes are ruining it, and basically winks at the camera while doing so. Oh, there's also an antagonist who is a living caricature of a new age liberal teacher? Well, you see, folks, he is the virgin wussy boy, and Birchum is the Giga Chad. Look at them. See that? With Mr. Birchum's design, by the way, I see that little that lip underneath his mustache. It looks like a smiling face to me. That's all I see is this smiling face.
Oh God, now I can't stop seeing it. No.
I'm just being real. It's a bad design. Birchum tells the audience what they want to hear, which is not interesting. It's not thought-provoking, and it is not entertaining. It is just pandering. This show knows its audience, and it gives them what they want.
And I don't know why. I'm surprised, honestly. But I am, because they put in a gay character. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to watch it. They have every TV show. Why not give the conservatives just one where we don't have to hear about it?
Well, I guess not exactly what they want. Birchum has a wife who is a ditzy realtor, a loser son who is a Twitch streamer, and then a young daughter who takes more after her dad, but is a bit of a rabble-rouser. Kind of gives me Bob's Burger vibes with Louise, but nowhere near as fun or interesting.
Would you like me to help you get acclimated with the features of your new tool from UTool?
What's to understand? Turn on, cut wood, dummy.
Okay, so remember earlier how I said that I was going to use King of the Hill as a foil for Birchum, so I can accurately show
Can I also just say that voice does not match at all? I think Brett Cooper has a nice voice. She can't use her normal voice to voice like a character that's supposed to be like 12. Like if I tried to voice act a character that was 12, I wouldn't just use my normal voice. Like what? At least make it a little more high pitched or something. I'm not a voice actress and I fucking know that. You can't just talk in your normal adult female voice and pretend like, oh yeah, that's it. This is fine. Like, come on.
The right and wrong waves of writing conservative characters in a quality way? Well, here we go. Episode 1 of Birchum is about Mr. Birchum teaching his new students at his woodworking class. Off the bat, you can see the generational differences between him and his modern students. TikTok, pronouns, back in my day, stuff like that. The class fails his course, but he offers them a chance to work outside of the school and repair his deck for extra credit. The liberal stand-in teacher spies on Birchum and gets him in trouble with the school board or something for treating kids like quote-unquote slaves? So, right away, the biggest issue with this episode, besides its obvious heavy-handedness, is the lack of growth from the characters. Birchum actively dunks on his students and punishes them. He calls them donkeys, and the students actively dislike Birchum and fail the class. Then he offers them extra credit, and they miraculously have a change of heart and defend him in front of the school board. Why? I don't fucking know.
Kids who graduated my class have gone on to extraordinary achievements, framing townhouses, renovating bathrooms, and re-roofing strip malls. My donkey workday teaches kids how to survive in the real world, using actual vocational skills.
Oh, this is a lovely speech.
It really is.
Now let's compare this to the episode Little Horrors of Shop from King of the Hill. In this episode, Hank is forced to take some time off from Strickland Propane because he rarely goes on vacation and even took a half a day when Bobby was born. God, I love Hank. He is adrift at home, but finds an opportunity to substitute for a shop class at the school Bobby goes to, and subsequently, Peggy teaches at. Peggy, being the, let's put it, proud person that she is, tries to coach Hank and give him advice.
So, should I have the students call me Mr. Hill or Hank?
Oh, good Lord. And I thought I dodged a bullet when Luann wanted to teach.
Are you comparing me to Luann?
Initially, the class was not very...
Damn, he's kind of getting cooked, actually. Peg Champ, thank you for the prime sub. Thank you.
Interested in Hank's teachings, but they quickly changed their minds and started to have fun. Hank won them over, and we see that growth throughout the episode. So much so that Hank becomes the most popular teacher at the school and overshadows Peggy. Peggy does not like this. Ultimately, Hank gets in trouble with the school since the students were carrying around tools that were considered dangerous.
Hank, I caught your boy carrying these chisels and screwdrivers and this toothy, pointy...
Keyhole saw. They're tools. Carl, you used to know that.
Well, maybe. But according to school board's zero tolerance policy, anything that can be used as a weapon is a weapon.
Well, that's just asinine.
And even though Hank gets dismissed, the students cared so much about him and his teachings that they go to his house in order to continue their education, which is super sweet and a wonderful ending to the story. Now, compare this to Mr. Birchum. The students defending him was not earned. It was forced, and all the while, there was a friction between him and the class. It doesn't make any sense. Meanwhile, Hank built a genuine rapport with his students. And the show was able to make fun of the school subtly by how asinine it was to ban tools in shop class because they saw it as weapons. More proof that King of the Hill can comment about current events without sacrificing the quality of its characters and story.
And you don't have to make up villains if villains already exist. You don't have to make up oh my gosh. Can you believe this school has gotten so woke? They're stopping me from teaching this class because of wokeism. It's what the fuck are you talking about? Literally, who is this supposed to appeal to? Who is watching this and relating to this? Who? So is the Birchum episode really just a shitty copy of King of the Hill episode? Straight plagiarism, but bad. Luckily, no one wants to watch the show, so the people who, I guess, wrote King of the Hill don't give a shit. If you want to make the school board the villain, go for it, but actually make it something that the school board would do. Reza, thank you so much for the 17 months. Thank you.
By now, you have probably all heard about the suspension of popular shop teacher Mr. Hill. and his disqualification for Substitute Teacher of the Year.
That's so unfair.
He lost his job.
Oh, and there was like some B plot in Birchum about the mom trying to sell the house, but the daughter sabotaged her and then was like, sorry because why not? I don't know. It was so insignificant and boring to pay attention to anyway.
I'm really sorry, Mom.
No, I love that you fight for what you believe in.
This was fun. We should do it again. Wait till you see what
I thought conservatives didn't like people who protested by like blockading and like, I thought that that was not a conservative value. I thought destroying property was bad and like, you know, tying yourself up to like trees or ports or something was bad. But this is supposed to be this is supposed to be the not woke kid. This is supposed to be like the base daughter. But she's posting cringe, but it's fine because she's conservative, I guess.
I did to the basement.
This is why I'm going to drink barrels of wine during your teenage years.
The next episode of Birchum is about him and his Navy friends trying to score as much free food as they can during Veterans Day. We're introduced to his pals, who are indistinguishable from background characters as far as I'm concerned. Look at these three guys, then look at Boomhauer, Bill, and Dale. Those three stand out. These guys do not. Even with Family Guy, Peter and his friends visually stand out, but not here. In the episode, we are introduced to some rival group of veterans who are from the Army. But Birchum and his friends are from the Navy. Oh, that classic rivalry. It's like the football game. Both parties challenge the other to see who can get the most free stuff. That's it. That's the episode. At the start, I knew it would end up with both parties being like, well, we might be different, but we're in the U.S. military. Also, I hate this woke teacher again because I have to make that point in every episode.
Wait, why are you here?
It's called a professional development retreat. Principal's discretion. I'm entitled to get to know my staff on a deeper level.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I guess I could sit for a quick glass of non-alcoholic rosé.
Sorry, this table's reserved for real warriors, not social justice warriors.
Oh. Still hurts like it did in high school.
I hate that I actually kind of sound like the character. That sucks.
I didn't even notice it until he pointed it out. Okay, that was... Oh my God.
I'm Corolla, and I'm an angry boomer. Now let's compare this to King of the Hill, a show that is not a stranger when it comes to discussing veterans. In the episode Unfortunate Son, Cotton and his World War II buddies can't afford to live at the VFW. Peggy suggests that the World War II vets should invite the Vietnam War vets over to join them as new members. But Cotton and the others are repulsed at the thought.
Vietnam boys? No dang way. The VFW stands for Veterans of Foreign Wars, not reefer-smoking losers.
But they fought and died for their country just like you guys did.
Zip it, Mo.
Reefer-smoking losers. Tag yourself.
Hey, I'm trying to watch my nudie channel.
Now, this is an interesting take on vets. We get to see the generational differences between soldiers who fought in World War II and those who fought in Vietnam. How one group acts tough, proud, and unemotional, while the other is traumatized, vulnerable, and unappreciated. It's a great juxtaposition that reveals how the Vietnam War vets are actually fantastic soldiers, despite losing the war, and how the World War II vets act tough, but genuinely could use their own therapy.
Dirty hippie. You know, you could benefit from a little group therapy. Clear up some of that anger.
I haven't slept in 50 years. I'm so tired.
It's respectful, it's engaging, it's real, and it even has some character growth between Hank and his father, which also acts as a resolution between the vets. All in all, it blows Mr. Bircham's episode out of the fucking water.
Dang it, Hank, don't apologize. You did everything right. I screwed up. Sometimes you can do everything right and still lose. It ain't your fault. You gave it everything you had. That's all I ever asked of my men. Thanks for trying, soldier.
That's all we ever wanted to hear. You did your best. Thanks for trying.
And then we have the third and most recent episode of Birchum. And by far the most boring. And that's saying something. In this episode, Birchum is trying to get new power tools in order to build a set for a school play. A school play that is presented as a modern retelling of Romeo and Juliet as Romeo and Romeo because woke. It just fucking never ends. I'm tired, boss. I'm getting tired of it.
Anyway, I've decided to direct the school play this year, and you're gonna build the sets.
More work, same pay, and you're my boss? Sign me up!
The rest of the episode is essentially just Birchum complaining.
Can you like
Back
this
in my
show? He's
day.
so funny. Yeah, Saberspark is a friend of the channel. Great person all around.
I could buy a hammer at the store. Back in my day, people used to work hard and care. I fucking hate that I sound like him. Back in my day, things were high quality and cheap. China bad, millennials bad. Everything that isn't what I like is bad.
Friends, Americans, tradesmen, lend me your ears. I think I speak for all of us when I say PCC is like a bench vice, squeezing our nuts.
His stepdaughter goes along for the ride, and she is, honest to God, just a yes man. An echo chamber as it goes. Constantly reinforcing what Birchum says and never challenges him. There is zero tension or growth. Like, the more I think about it, these episodes feel like boomer Facebook post. My child literally said, "Why are the liberals so woke, Papa? Don't they care about America?" And then everyone stood up and clapped. That happens in the episodes. This episode ends with Birchum just being quote-unquote right again. I also find it funny how in this episode, he's upset that brick and mortar stores are gone and he blames the Chinese and millennials. Yet, gosh, what generation was in charge that got rid of manufacturing jobs in America and sent them overseas? You know, a maneuver that was done in order to maximize company profits and help them avoid ethically paying domestic workers? It starts with the millennials. It must have been them. They did this.
That's it.
You ever meet someone who tries to tell a joke they heard, but they don't quite tell it right and it falls flat? That's the same vibe here. Yup.
This whole place is a stainless steel shrine to millennial mediocrity. There's only one way to hang a door, build a cabinet, and install TNG flooring. It's not my way, it's the way. Your generation thinks you just declare yourself an expert and you become one.
I will have no accountability whatsoever because I am perfect.
Also, this is so stupid because, like, if you want a good power tool of any kind, you got to go do research online, look at a bunch of reviews, look at a bunch of products, and then make a purchase. Every single time in the past, I don't know, probably like decade, that I've needed to go buy some type of tool, even a small tool like a garlic press. If I go to a store and buy one, it's always going to be shit. I got like a garlic press at a grocery store, and it literally started rusting when I put it in the dishwasher a second time. It said it was dishwasher safe. Like, I literally just don't buy things in person anymore. The only exception is like going thrifting and getting clothes. But for tools, any type of tool, you have to do so much research online, fucking browse the hyperfixated subreddit on that specific type of product. Do a bunch of review searching and like, oh, well, this product has this many reviews and it's got this many stars. Okay. Oh, this product, okay. Yeah, I'll get this one. Yeah, OXO, I will say, for kitchen stuff, OXO's pretty good. That's because you're a millennial and never had to develop the keen eye for garlic presses. Yeah. So that's all I'll say. All right.
Losing my mind here, folks. Now, let's compare this to King of the Hill. Throughout the series, the show would take jabs at Walmart with their own stand-in, Megalomart. At the time of writing the series, Walmarts were killing off ma and pa general stores and local businesses, sacrificing quality and customer service in exchange for options and low cost. Hank constantly voiced his dissatisfaction, but he never used previous generations as a scapegoat.
Excuse me, where's the hardware department?
Where is the hardware department? What exactly is it you're looking for?
The hardware department.
Yeah, but are you looking for like a tool or something?
What difference does it make?
Huh. What difference does it make?
Okay, I'm looking for a tap and die and some WD-40.
Huh. Well, what is it that you're trying to do?
I'm trying to buy a tap and die and some WD-40 and get out of this godforsaken store.
In the episode Raise the Stakes, Hank is upset at how bad the meat quality has become at Megalomart, but he stumbles across a co-op that has the best free-range steak he has ever had. The downside? The co-op is run by a bunch of hippies. This is an interesting predicament. Hippies are like the antithesis of Hank Hill, yet they do agree on one matter: fresh food. Hank is a man of quality. He wants good tools, a good truck, and good meat. Mr. Birchum somewhat shares in this sentiment. But where Birchum just complains, Hank takes action and works at the co-op in order to get good meat.
You got me over a barrel, Steve. Okay, I'll join.
Great! I'll get an application, but it'll take a few days to process. The guy who does that is on a vision quest.
Things, of course, backfire when the hippies discover, thanks to Hank's excellent management, that they can turn a profit. And they ultimately sell the co-op to Megalomart, which breaks Hank's heart. He and a hippie named Appleseed take off with a cow in order to keep their dream alive.
Where should I go?
Someplace where no one will find you. Find a field where they can graze. Find a stream where they can drink. It's the only way to keep our dream alive. Go and write me when you think it's safe.
I'm scared, Hank.
There's no time to waste. Go on now. Get. Run, Appleseed, run!
Wow, a show that challenges its characters and puts them in a situation that provides entertainment and growth? Even though King of the Hill was obviously a reference from Mr. Birchum,
And it's sad too, by the way, because like this episode is so true. If you want good quality produce or good quality like food in general, like farmers markets that are populated with small business owners and small, like, I guess, farmers, right? Some of the best food you will ever eat. Like an apple at a farmer's market will be 10 times sweeter than an apple anywhere else. And I can tell you that with a promise. If you should look and see if there are any farmers markets in your neighborhood or in your area, because a lot of good quality food is coming from smaller markets and smaller. Obviously, if you have less product to worry about, you're going to take more care into each individual product. Versus, you guys ever buy like strawberries and the strawberries just don't even taste like anything? Like literally, they just don't even taste like anything at all. It's like, what am I getting? I'm getting notes of sourness and water, even though it's strawberry season. Okay. No, I live in Africa. Market strawberries taste like rusted iron. What? I disagree. I love my high school farmer's market. Fuck, you're pissing me off. I'm getting shit fruit PTSD. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, my bad. MB. Oh, I thought that was just me. No, it's not just you. Oh, I meant the supermarket one, not the farmer's market ones. Oh. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the farmer's market ones. No, if you go and get like fresh strawberries, like strawberries that were actually plucked off of the stem sometime within the past few days, they're good. They actually taste like strawberries and they have some sweetness to them. Or like, anyone here ever grow their own tomatoes? This is another one. Personally, I'm not a big tomato person. I've noticed a difference in quality between store-bought tomatoes and fresh grown tomatoes. I'm still, again, I'm just not like, the texture of tomatoes is not like for me personally, but the flavor of a tomato, the difference between a good flavored tomato and a bad flavored tomato, it's a world of a difference. And this is coming from someone who doesn't like them. If anyone here has a yard or has a farmer's market near them or has like a friend or something that has a yard or something, or maybe there are, what are they called? What is it called? Like community growing centers, I guess is what you might call them. They're so juicy and they're so like, it's almost, I don't know how to explain this, but there's a better word for it. My grasp, I suppose, on the English language isn't as good as it could be, but like the tomato is almost crunchy. When it's fresh and it's actually grown in like a community garden or crisp. Maybe crisp is the better word I'm looking for. It's got like a snap to it versus you go to the store and buy one. You go to your supermarket and buy a tomato, and the tomato straight up, it just tastes like mush. It's just mush. And it doesn't even taste like anything. It tastes like mushy vegetable fruit. Fresh tomato with some salt goes crazy. That is to say, listen, okay, those crystal mommies and crystal daddies or whatever, they might be weird people, but they're onto something with their community gardens and their small markets, okay? They're onto some shit. That food does go crazy. That food actually does go hard, all right?
Did not capture a fraction of its charm, wit, or nuance. Also, there was a Mr. Beast reference in this episode. So yeah, take that for what it's worth. Boomer writers making boomer jokes. Color me surprised.
Let me show you some Mr. Savage. He's the OG of viral content. You want your videos to get eyeballs? This guy was a gaming streamer like me. Now, he's a gazillionaire.
And that really is my biggest issue with Mr. Birchum. This show is, unsurprisingly, an echo chamber. Only serves the purpose of making its viewers nod and double down on their values and beliefs. Mr. Birchum has zero growth, zero change, zero friction, aka it's boring! I don't care about the politics. This is just bad writing, plain and simple. And if you can't challenge your characters, then at least try and be funny. But the show can't manage that either. The jokes never land. And I expect the writers at the table read for Birchum losing their minds because, woke bad, am I right? The teacher's gay. Pronouns, Star Wars, pro-gay, fucking, woke, pronouns. Please laugh. I can't believe I'm saying this. Velma's better. I don't like Velma, but it's better. Despite its unfunny jokes and bastardization of Scooby-Doo characters, it is visually more striking, creative, and at least the characters experience some kind of friction, even though it comes across as obnoxious. There's effort, and that's better than nothing. Speaking of zero effort, the animation in Birchum feels lifeless. It's flat, stiff, and at times almost incomplete. As if I'm watching an animatic for the episode. Like, it reminds me of Go Animate, and I mean that in the most insulting way imaginable, especially with the lip syncing.
Oh my God!
Go ahead, Birchum. Toss in your Family Guy cutaway gags, make topical jokes in order to pander to current events, and include your guitar riffs in order to remind people to laugh.
To be worse than Velma is like crazy, actually.
A dream of perfection, like fashion models who never gain weight or Android phones that never crash.
Or the Green New Deal. You're audience doesn't want to work so hard. The cowbell enables them to laugh without having to think. The cowbell tells them, yes, the joke is over, and yes, it was funny.
Why does King of the Hill work and Birchum doesn't? Because it is bolstered by empathy and kindness. Even though Hank is conservative, he is more than just that. He is a person who puts value into people regardless of their affiliation or backstory. If you are a person who works hard, has a backbone, and conducts yourself with integrity, there is a good chance Hank will stand up for you. He did so for the kids growing produce for the football team. He did so for Peggy at the cost of losing a massive propane deal. And he did so for a literal prostitute who lied to him because she actually showed that she wanted to change, and he supported that. Put Mr. Birchum in any of these situations, and it would play out exactly how you think it would. Condemnation, condemnation, condemnation. Hank is not perfect. He's far from it. But that's what makes him endearing, interesting, and real. Also, King of the Hill actually does something with the medium of animation. Well, Birchum was animated in order to be conservative Family Guy. Like, even if Mr. Birchum existed in a vacuum with nothing else to compare it to, it still sucks. The animation is bad, the designs are generic, and the writing is atrocious. And if your character can't follow a proper story arc and have its values challenged, then what's the point? Unless you truly are just trying to pander to the lowest common denominator. And considering the website this show is on, I think that's the case. So overall, don't waste your time with Mr. Birchum. It's a very bad show with bad faith and nothing of substance to offer. Go watch F is for Family. Go watch The Boondocks. Go watch King of the Hill instead. These shows are superior in every single way imaginable and actually give a damn about what they're doing. Unlike Birchum.
Dogs are supposed to eat meat. They're descendants of wolves. You ever see a vegan wolf on the Nature Channel?
I'm a vegan.
That makes a lot of sense. A lot of nonsense.
This is stupid. That's dumb. Also, that's not what fucking wolves do. Wolves don't attack other wolves. That's fucking stupid. This is what I mean when I say comedy has to be based in some reality for it to be funny. Rado Jam, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Thank you. Thank you. They do if it's not part of the pack. Yeah, but that wolf was chilling with them in the same group, which means he's part of the pack. Also, again, animals in general in the animal kingdom, they don't fight randomly for no reason with animals of their group. It's like basically all animals across the board, with exceptions, are hardwired to not want to eat their own species. Like, tigers don't go and hunt other tigers and eat them. Wolves don't go and hunt other wolves and eat them. They usually go and find something else, and they would only be eating their own kind if they had no other food source. It's almost like evolution. The animals that survive are probably the ones that look out for their own kind and all that other stuff. Yeah. Most animals are not cannibalistic. Crazy. Yeah. Insane. Insane. No, wolves fight woke wolves, Denims. You don't understand. Actually, interestingly enough, generally speaking, when an animal of a group is no longer deemed part of that group, it's more that the animal just gets shunned. So, like, for example, I learned about this because if anyone here has cats, if you might take a guess, when cats get injured, they don't feel well, they kind of just like sit in a corner by themselves. And that's because they don't want to show weakness, and because they're hardwired to not look weak so that they don't get shunned from the group. Because, for example, if there was like, in the instance of wolves, if there was one wolf that had like a broken limb and it gets injured, it's like, you're going to slow us down in our hunt, so we're leaving you behind. That's what happens. They don't go and eat the wolf. They don't say, oh, this guy's weak, let's go eat him. Like, that's not... No, actually. No. It can be not based in reality, but it has to be a really abstract, absurd joke that's outside of the normal thought, and they can't do that. Yeah, like Smiling Friends, for example, is a good example Jesus Christ. Smiling Friends is a great example of this, where the jokes are just so deranged that they become funny. I think this is a great summary for this. King of the Hill is a show by liberals made to make you relate to conservatives. Birchum is a show by conservatives that makes you relate to Lenin and Stalin. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. That would be correct. Yeah, that would be, yeah. Actually, yeah. Don't forget Mao. I was going to say Mao, and I was like, nah, I make too many Mao jokes, but as it would turn out, I don't make enough.